What is up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, here with another Geek Speak for the morning. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. And I'm going to get to this. So, title of this one is How to Save Star Wars. And I probably should have did this one later on tonight, but I have some shit to do tonight. So I'm gonna record it now, and you can play it back at your ad nauseum. So I don't feel the need to do this, but I will just to clarify for people, so I don't get any dumb comments in my comment section. But I am a Gen Xer. When the original Star Wars movie came out, I was a kid. I was probably about 8, and I saw it in the theater. When the original Empire Strikes Back came out, I was a child. I saw it in the theater, stood in line, or I think it was about an hour or so to see that movie. When Return of the Jedi came out, I was a child, and I stood in line with my cousin and a bunch of other people for about an hour or more to watch this movie. And I saw all of these at Hilltop Theaters, the old theaters on the backside. If you're from the Bay Area, from Richmond, around that, you know where Hilltop is, you know where the Hilltop Mall is, you know where the old theater is on the backside. That's where I saw this shit. I remember it clearly because we winded around the dumpster and everything else, waiting in line to see this movie. Since that time, I have been a Star Wars fan. I've grown up with the movies, cartoons, TV shows, merchandise. And when I got a bit older, after the prequels, I started reading more of the books and got into reading the novelizations of the books more. And in that time, since prequels and sequel series and stuff like that, over what, 30, 40 fucking years, my love for Star Wars had only deepened. It had not, you know, slacked up or fell off of it or didn't care about it. No, my love for it had only deepened. Being a black geek, not a spoiled black geek, there was some of that stuff in the house, but it wasn't a lot of it. I remember having the original Luke Skywalker, the Darth Vader figures with the little lightsaber that slides out of their arm so they can fight and stuff like that. I also remember my brother burning my Luke Skywalker on the iron. It happens. I remember having my Boba Fett figure, all of that stuff, right? So it has never been something for me that is just a passing fancy. It feels was one of the squares in the tapestry of my childhood that I hold dear. And I have held dear all the way up through my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, up till now, being 50. So I love this franchise. Really appreciate George Lucas for making it and growing the franchise and creating such a big world that people can play into. They can actually, you know, go into, immerse themselves into languages, cultures, aliens, and feel a sense of idealism and heroism all at the same time. Okay? Man, what is everybody? So With that being said, when I saw the state that Star Wars was brought to after selling Disney, I was sad. I was sad. I was skeptical over George selling it to Disney, but I thought it made the most sense if he wanted it to live on past his years. It made the most sense because Disney was going to be around. Thought they might do a decent job. 10 years after that, my sadness has turned into disappointment, utter disappointment and heartbreak over seeing what these people have done to this franchise over the course of 10, 11 years. Utterly disappointed. Now, I don't believe that what has been done to the Star Wars franchise was accidental. I do not believe that at all. There's too much information out in the public sphere about how this franchise was actually dismantled and destroyed, and will continue to be dismantled and destroyed as long as certain people have their way. And that's plain and simply it. So, in thinking about how could you save this franchise, which was happening with under John Favreau's involvement, it was happening, but it was undermined and scuttled like ridiculous. So, because it has happened while they were driving this ship into the ground, I do believe it can happen again. I do. Granted that certain things happen. So, with that little preamble out the way, how do I save it? How do I save Star Wars? Firstly, let this two movies, next two, not movies, but series that are due to come out, Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte, let that shit crash and burn. Let it crash and burn and blow up like Death Star 1. Let it. Why? Let's not get to the why. What does that do to the fan base? What I consider the Star Wars fan base, the ones who are as disheartened as me with where Star Wars has gone to and how much shame in that name it has, won't give a shit. They won't care at all. Reason being, they weren't looking to watch that crap anyway. They weren't. They already knew it was a non-starter. So let it go the way of the dodo. Let it crash and burn. And what you do after, you let it crash and burn. Why do you let it crash and burn? Because you need to finish out the rest of the goof troop that is at Lucasfilms right now. Wet dreams. Let them finish it out. Let them get all the gusto. Let them get their uh, forgetting what it's called now. I didn't have my coffee. Let them get their finish. Let them get their pop. Let them have their happy ending. Okay. Let them have their happy ending, and then board wipe all that shit. Why? They've done so much damage to the timeline of Star Wars and the characters that you love. You need to cut ties. You do. As painful as it may seem, you need to cut ties with them. Let them finish out the portion they want to do and walk away from that era. Now, the other reason why is they need to hold that L. Most notably, chiefly involved, KK needs to hold that L. She needs to hold that L around her neck like she a B-boy back from the late 80s in rap. She needs to hold that L like a dookie rope. She needs to hold the L for Star Wars. She needs to hold the L for Indiana Jones. And as far as I'm concerned, mismanagement of that whole fucking franchise. She needs to hold them around her neck. Like she's severed the ears of her rivals or some shit. She needs to hold that. That needs to be her shame. Her utter shame. That in 10 years she ruined one of the biggest franchises in history. Single-handedly did there. And she needs to be removed from Lucasfilm. Contract me that. Now, secondarily, too bad, needs to be the removal of Dave Filoni. I'm sorry, this motherfucker has made my list. And I'm not really sorry. I'm saying sorry to the people who just really love him. I am really fucking pissed off with Dave Filoni. Really. I have recognized I have made a mistake, putting my, hope into this dude. But I don't have a problem making a mistake if I can fix my mistake. Fixing my mistake is you need to go. You have been proven to not be no acolyte and no damn George Lucas. You are a Judas. And Judas get no love. Sorry, you don't. And you need to get with snitches and bitches. Snitches. For your hand and your groveling at the feet of a pseudo penis. So you can have your jollies with your little toys. No. You need to go. You need to get fired. Well, a lot of the other people that are left in those story groups keep pushing this BS into the show and can't make a decent Star Wars show. You need to go too. I don't even need to know your name. I'm sure everybody else in Lucasfilm knows your damn name. I don't. I'm not an insider. I'm just a paid customer. I'm sick of what I have paid for being turned into garbage. They need to go to. Now, let those movies come out or those shows come out and crash and burn. Because they are going to crash and burn. I don't doubt it at all. And then you start on fresh soil. You do what's called in Magic the Gathering as a board wipe. You board wipe. That should happen. Good. Those are done. It's over. You start fresh. In a place you don't know, with characters you don't know. And not Days Filoni's other galaxy bullshit. We're not Jedi's, but it's not really the Force, but it's kind of something else. The ovaries. No. No. What else, Borla? King, Two Trib? No, none of that shit. What you do is you build on existing material, extended universe material. And you start with the Lost Tribe of the Sith. You start during the hyperspace wars with a ship of Sith lost in hyperspace with a ship full of kyber crystals, red kyber crystals. None of that Dave Filoni bullshit about making a stone bleed and all that dumb shit. No. You start there, and they crash land on the planet Kesh, and you watch them take over that society and build up that society, cut off from the rest of the galaxy. And you get into what it means to be a Kashiri Sith. Their hierarchy, their social structure, their class system, their way of combat, and their way of battle. And you get people interested in learning about one part of the Star Wars universe that they haven't really been touched on too much in movies or television. Now, you can have your female protagonists, but you can go up through the years like a Game of Thrones situation because they're trapped on this planet for a while, a couple hundred years, that this society becomes Sith. It's a planet of Sith. That's all it is. And in that series, because it would be a series, not a movie, a series, you go into that and develop your fan base for wanting to see a movie. Tangentially, while you are doing this series first, you start making movies again. And the movies that you make centers on an older Luke Skywalker. A little further in time, rebooting. Make believe that that everything after her, but everything after Return of the Jedi didn't really happen. And that'll suck because you'll lose some stuff in The Mandalorian. But fuck it. Sacrifices have to be made. Because you need to wipe out the prequel. Problematic as fuck because they killed off Luke Skywalker, which they should not have ever fucking done. Magnum opus of failures. You start the movie with an older Luke Skywalker. You can use Mark Hamill as he is. No CG, no de-aging, none of that shit. And you start with him as Grand Master of the Jedi Order. And you get introduced to his Jedi Order. New characters, new protagonists, and new antagonists. And guess what? Guess what, folks? The antagonist is not necessarily a Sith. The antagonist of this deal, maybe 3 movies, ends up being his nephew, Jason Solo, better known as Dark Cadus. And you do the Fate of the Jedi series, or Legacy of the Force series, excuse me. You do that series in 3 movies. Now, you can't get an older Carrie Fisher back. I would bet dollars to donuts you're not getting the older Harrison Ford back. But if you could, it would work better. No CG, no de-aging. Right? For Carrie Fisher, well, if you could get Harrison Ford back, get him. Get him. If you can't, get the dude who played in Solo. Give him a chance to redeem himself like you gave Hayden Christensen one. Because as much as I may have liked Solo, I thought it was all right, a good jumping off point. Give him some pointers. And let's run it again. Run it back. Start from scratch, right? Okay, well, here we go. Carrie Fisher, you use her daughter. Pay her that respect. Let her daughter play her, who looks like her. And you can put some prosthetics on her if you want to. Look, ILM has made their fortune off of prosthetics and CG. I don't think they'll have a problem making no prosthetics for Carrie Fisher that look believable. Keep the CG budget down and do that. And have these older versions of these characters and getting you introduced to the new cast and crew. Their children. A Ben Skywalker. A Jason Solo. A Janiyah Solo. Koran Hor. His kids. Some of these other people. And inject that story to seeing what this Republic looks like now. The Empire was vanquished. Luke rebuilt the order. And this is where we are now. There's been some wars in the past, little skirmishes and stuff like that that have happened. But we're not going to dwell on that right now because that gives you reasons to do some prequels if you make these stories good. 1 second, you guys. Now, at a point, if you can muster this shit together right and not fuck it up, you make 3 movies of the Legacy of Force series. And by the end of that, you have Jason being killed. You could actually follow Jason through those 3 movies. Yeah, Master Sabatine all day. Sabatine all day. That's what you're going to save some of your CG for. Because I need to see that shit. You can have him dying by the end of the third movie. If you do it right, your Lost Tribe of the Sith show, by the time the third movie ends with Jason's death, you already get the understanding that these Sith are going to be out here in the universe. And then your next series of 3 movies deal with the fate of the Jedi. This might be a ways down the road. Mark Hamill might be dead, so maybe then you have recast. Or, these first 3 you recast from the beginning, and this is just a new Luke Skywalker. You go ahead and cast Sebastian Stan as Grandmaster Skywalker and move forward from there, because then you can get more movies out of it, right? But by the third set of movies, you now have this lost tribe of Sith characters from the series. Because by this time, you should have at least gotten out 1 or 2 seasons, hopefully 3 seasons of this shit, because you can produce the series faster than the movies. The next series of movies introduces the lost tribe of the Sith, the Kashiri Sith, to the movie universe. And there's your crossover event without needing another fucking universe to do it. Because some of the seeds that were laid in the first 3 movies leads you to Kesh, gives reason for the people on Kesh to get off that damn planet. And yeah, you took down Darth Caedus. Congratulations. By the third movie, but this new problem arises where these Kashiri Sith, this whole planet of Sith, but we ain't seen none of these people in a while, start showing up into the galaxy doing a pirate thing. Third series of movies, fallout from Darth Caedus, Jedi's needing to be wrangled in by the government. You can throw Abeloth in there if you want to, make that the big bad at the same time, but that's a lot for people to do. Wrap their fucking head around who don't read books. And then you throw in the Sith. And you do the fate of the Jedi series. And you get the rise of a Ben Skywalker. And see where the Jedi go from there. For me, that would be interesting. And I wouldn't even believe that I would be able to see all of it come to fruition. But you would get, with that, your older fans back on board because it's new material. Yeah, getting up to Jagged Fail and stuff like that. Exactly. You would get the old fan base back on board with new material. We're getting stuff they want to see. You would get out of fucking up the timeline, playing around in the past, and wanting to keep jerking off the Clone Wars era forever, and get to giving visions of the future, which sci-fi is supposed to do. You get to introduce new characters, new protagonists, new antagonists, both male and female, written well. So it's something new for everybody. And flushes out more about what it means to be a Sith and what are the downsides of being a Jedi. And how all of this works together with people who are, frankly, fucking tired of always ending up in a galactic goddamn war because one person popped a red lightsaber and somebody popped a blue one. You get into the family dynamics of this stuff. You get to understand how more so how somebody could become dark and have that legacy that they're really just trying to help the universe and not just plunge it into chaos. But they understand the chaos will come when you're trying to make changes to people who don't want to change. How do you make an omelet without breaking some eggs? Some people are willing to break the eggs. And some people want to eat without sacrifice. Now, in between there, those two series of movies, that's 6 movies, right? One series, 6 movies. Not a bunch of series, one series that you keep pouring your efforts into and dropping yearly. Every year, you drop a new season. And it's dealing with the Sith in a Game of Thrones type of scenario until the point where they get space travel and can leave their planet and get out to the greater universe where they realize they're a Jedi out here. You come at it from 2 ways: the Jedi's in power and the Sith gaining power and getting back out into the universe. It's a shitload of Jedi and it's a shitload of Sith. How do they now interact in this universe? Not to mention, once you cross over the series and the movies with the Jedi's in the movies and the Sith from the series, you can have that Romeo and Juliet dynamic with Ben Skywalker and Vistara Kai, a Sith and a Jedi, young Sith and Jedi who end up attracted to each other when their ideology tells them they should not be together. How does that work out? You can get your love story out of it. Because if the first series focuses on Jason Solo, the second series focus on Ben Skywalker, who picks up the mantle of his grandmaster father and deals with that. It's a lot of other stuff you can do. But the first thing that you have to do is fire the people that are over there at Lucasfilms that want all this diversity, inclusion, and everything not George Lucas Star Wars. They need to go. I wouldn't punish John Favreau with having to try to come back and fix all that shit. I wouldn't. But pay some money, hire some people like Timothy Zahn, Aaron Alston, some of these great writers who have written Star Wars material on to write your fucking screenplays and scripts. If you want to hire Favreau back to direct it, do that. But Dave Filoni got to go. KK got to go. I'm sick of the both of them. What they have turned out has not been for the better. Plain and simple. It has not been for the better. So that, to me, is how you save Star Wars. Board white, start fresh, forward in the future. Recast Luke if you need to, but we need to start over with Grandmaster Skywalker and let that be the interim in between. No Ahsoka Tano, none of this Thrawn bullshit, none of that crap. Move on. Move the fuck on. And take your time with it. One Star Wars movie maybe every 2 years. A new season of the Sith show every year. And that can get you through about 10 years of material. Because now the focus is on these two things. And the brain trust is all working on these two things. Not shotgunning and making fucking geekdom pate with stuffing material down your throat that's not even good. No. Build that anticipation. Build that excitement. That's how you make it an event. It's not an event if you banging a chick out every night. But if once every 2 weeks you come through and bang that shit out like a porn star, She'll be looking for your ass in 2 more weeks. Anticipation. Wetness will happen as soon as they hear your voice coming. Yeah, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. Oh my God! Oh. Do that. That's the fan base. You supposedly to be the one with the big swinging schlong. Figure it the hell out. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I got a meeting, as always. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined, and drop your comments down below this video. What do you think, or what do you see as your ways to try to fix the Star Wars franchise? You saw something, you think of something that I didn't mention, throw it in there. Debate is good. Intelligent debate is welcome. So with that, see you guys next time.